mature, you realize the right and the wrong and the right path and the wrong path and people that you shouldn't associate with or the people that you should. And, of course, it's all life lessons. But with that being said, WBZB 1090 AM. I remember it like it was yesterday. Me and you were on the show. Of course, it was in the pits, and Charlie Hansen was there, and that's how me and you met each other. And then we did races at Kings Raceway together, and done races at Wake County Speedway together. And then in the pits, the radio station got sold to somebody else. They decided not to do the racing show anymore. Ginger Pleasance wanted to keep In the Pits going, so she decided to put it on television, and that's how I got my break in TV. A lot of people did not know that, but I was like 17, 18 years old, Mike, and it's amazing how times flew by. Now I'm 35, but that's how I got my foot in the door with television at WARZ TV 34, doing In the Pits, and then doing the bargain market, and then doing all the other things I've done today.
I'll tell you, Wesley, you've had a great career, man. And the thing that I've always loved about you from day one, Wesley, is you've never quit, man. You've always kept grinding and grinding and grinding. Yeah. And that's good, man. That's good. Yeah, Ginger, we had fun with that radio show. There's just been so many fun friends, family, your racing family, Wesley.
Yes.
You'll meet people in life that will be lifelong friends.
Absolutely.
And you'll see them, and then you'll see them again decades later, and the connection is still there. And then some of these folks you see week in and week out.
Right.
And then this weekend, I'll get to see a lot of people that I normally don't get to see that'll come down from the mountains because they have a great following of both fans and competitors.
That's right.
That'll all be coming down from a bunch of Bowman Gray drivers and a bunch of fans from up in Winston-Salem and all over, really, for this Southern Modified Racing Series that Renee and Darren are putting on at Southern National.
That's
right. But you meet so many people from all over, and whether it's dirt or asphalt, but enjoy these relationships that you make. And you will, Wesley, making mistakes is that's just part of living.
Yeah.
So, we got to make the mistakes, man. I make them every day, but you just got to keep on digging. And then, Wesley, Langley Austin told me just a couple of weeks ago that I don't work. I'm just passionate about the craft. So that's a good way to be. I don't have a job. So I'm just passionate about the craft. So whether it's supporting your local speedway.
That's right.
Martinsville Speedway this weekend. Folks, if you've never been to a Monster Energy Cup Series race, you need to go to Martinsville, Virginia this weekend.
True.
Half-mile paperclip, tight, long straightaways, tight turns, beating and banging. Wesley, let me get your take on Martinsville. I know you're going up this weekend.
I love Martinsville. I've said this so many times. We need more short tracks on the schedule. And that's something I wanted to talk to Bob Pockr about, and it just kind of slipped my mind. We need more short tracks on the racing schedule. I believe the more short tracks, a mile or shorter, will make the racing more exciting for NASCAR, and it's going to put more butts in the seats. I believe that because I promise you it will be a great crowd for the STP 500 on Sunday.
It'll be a great weekend. I've met people from all over the United States, from Alaska, from California. I don't know if I've ever met anybody there from Hawaii, but being up close and on the action and really enjoying it now,
right.
And with the great ticket packages they have for this weekend.
Oh, definitely phenomenal.
Yes, it's a phenomenal weekend. The Gander Truck Series race, I know Bob hit on the fact that there's a lot of young guys that are getting ready.
Yep.
And that's another thing, Wesley, that me and you, we've both been in the sport a while now, and you get to see so many youngsters with so much talent.
Yes.
Come up through the ranks at your local short tracks, and then a lot of them end up going to Martinsville, shaking them down on the half mile for the first time. So
that's right.
So it'll be a great show with great seats available up there this weekend.
Yeah, matter of fact, Bob Pockr was hitting on it here in our last segment. He was talking about the fact that because there's so many young rookie drivers that are coming into the truck race at Martinsville Sunday or Saturday of the 39 entries, that they're going to have a rookie practice session on Friday to allow these drivers to get used to the track. And you know what? We've seen that happen before, Mike Ray. You just hit it on that. You talked about Jamie Cottle or Barry Beggerly or then those are drivers from back in the day or today's drivers like, Tyler Matthews or, Harrison Burton or any of these young up-and-coming drivers that get a chance, Christian Eckes, they get a run in the truck series and make their debut. 9 times out of 10, it's normally at your Martinsville or Bristol Motor Speedway or Richmond, short tracks.
A good place to start. And, NASCAR's got that system where it's kind of like a feeder system where they bring you through.
Right.
And your half mile, after you qualify, after you go to Martinsville and qualify there, then they'll tell you you can go somewhere else. Phoenix might be your next step. Iowa might be your next step. And they just kind of lead you through the system. And Martinsville's always been a great track, Wesley, to see new teams like to show up there
right.
and start out. I saw the old Rick Hendrick, the number 5 All-Star team, the first time that he was at Martinsville.
Right. Didn't
know who they were. When Dygard and Donnie Allison showed up with I believe it was a 1972 Chevelle, the big old car.
Big old dump cars.
Yeah. So you get to see a lot of good people show up at Martinsville.
Absolutely.
Raphael Lassard is making his start this weekend.
That's right.
For Calabush Motorsports. So a lot of good people showing up.
That's right. Again, Raphael Lassard, one of the best in super late model racing, will be at Martinsville Speedway, of course. Another topic that we've been hitting on as well. Mike, what is your thoughts of the new race car package, the Era package that the NASCAR Cup Series are using now?
I might. I like this new Era package, Wesley. We've seen it at a super speedway, and then we've seen it at the next at a mile and a half.
And by the way, we saw this at the All-Star race last year that me and Ken Squire and Ozzie Altman were announcing, and literally people were coming out of the rafters going crazy with the package that we've seen. The racing was phenomenal at Charlotte last year in the All-Star race.
The package did come out of Charlotte, but they've been tweaking on it, and then the tires this year are a little different and everything.
Right.
But all in all, I think we've had a great year of racing so far. I think the Chevrolet Camaros are behind Wesley as far as manufacturers go.
Right, I got you.
KB's had a good show. The Toyotas have been winning. The Ford Mustangs have been winning.
Penske's done well.
Penske's done well this year. So as Hendrick, they will catch on to it. The Ganassi has been running better with the Camaro stuff this year than anybody.
Absolutely.
Kurt Busch has been well in the one going over there, and then that crew chief on that one car. I love that guy to death. He races once a year, Wesley. He comes in and takes home $20,000 every year from Michael Diaz.
That's right.
He's a real nice young man. Bush's crew chief. It's going to be I like the package, and they'll just all keep tweaking on it, and I think it'll be a good thing.
Absolutely. I believe who you're talking about is, oh my goodness, man, I'm trying to think of his name. I haven't heard it in a while, but he comes down for the Thanksgiving Classic, and of course, he used to be the spotter for Jamie McMurray's car also.
He's such a great guy. I'd have to look it up here. I still got you on here, Wesley?
Yes. Yeah, you do. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay, let me see here. I just got his autograph. That's how it goes.
Matt McCall.
Yeah, Matt McCall. Yeah.
It's like a light bulb went off in my head. Matt McCall.
Wesley, you're too young to be doing this. It's okay for me to do it, but not you, my friend.
Oh,
wow. I just spoke to the young man before the race, and he's done it 2 years in a row.
Right.
and he knows all about setup. And these new cars are tricky, Wesley.
That's right.
Very, very tricky. You can miss it just by a little bit in one particular area.
Is that one? Is that one problem, Mike, that we've lost maybe a lot of the fan base is because they've took the stock out of stock car and it's too much about aerodynamics. It's too much about horsepower. It's too much about technology. And do you think that's one reason why we're kind of hurting on the fan side of it?
Oh, I just hope that we can continue to work hard and continue to get our fan base to grow, because I think that the cars now are better than they've ever been.
Really?
I think they run closer. I think they run closer together now than they have. Wesley, there were times in the 70s and in the 60s too. I'm sure that everybody will refer you back to that race that Ned Jarrett won by like 10 laps at Darlington or something like that. I mean, there were some Lulus back in the day, and I just think the racing is great now, and the way everything, the value goes up in everything.
See, that's what my question is. Do we like to see in today's day and age total domination of somebody like I give props to Kyle Busch. I've seen him in the garage area. I've talked to him. I've said, hey, man, it's great what you've done. And, my take is this. I think people are giving him hell for having 200 wins in NASCAR touring, Mike Ray, because they don't like him. Just like Bob Pockr said, because of his demeanor, because of his attitude. Well, I'm going to tell y'all something. We need more Kyle Busches in the sport. We need to have more characters like that in the sport. It just can't be who's your favorite guy. He's going to be my favorite. I love him. I supported him. He go. You got to have your rivals. You got to have your good guys. You got to have your bad guys. You got to have your Superman. You got to have your villain. And my friend Paul Small hinted on this last Wednesday morning, Mike Ray. That's what we got to have in this sport, and that's got to make it fun, because the characters is what makes the racing interesting. It can't just be guys in cars.
Yeah, the characters are what makes it interesting.
Right.
And KB, if anybody will just look back and see, you can go back to KB's always been in the sport, always been helping the sport, always has worked on his own cars in the sport. Before young Jones, Eric Jones.
Yeah.
Before way back in the day, I guess it was about a decade ago, maybe longer now. It was the first annual. One of our friends, Bob Dillner, and Alan Beach, they were putting on the first annual Mason-Dixon Meltdown at South Boston.
Yep.
And Kyle was in that race that day.
He sure was.
He had bought a car from up north then and was trying different things then.
And he's won
the
Snowball Derby.
Always, he did after he got down here and got up with some people.
That's right.
Golly, that 51 bunch they're stout wherever they go, and he's got the new Rowdy Manufacturing that he's gotten together with a business partner, and they got that going, and doing a bunch of new stuff with the Hamke Preston Pielter. He ran great at
Peltier,
at the Cars Tour opener.
Absolutely, definitely
came home second after he dumped Mason.
Mike, our final topic on this subject. What is your thoughts of the super late model engines, the SEAL program, and what it's doing to the sport, especially after the announcement at the Rattler last weekend with the restrictor plate going on the Hamner race engines? You mentioned their name a few moments ago.
Well, I got mixed emotions about it. I really do. I think Ricky Brooks made the right call. I will always have to be with the tech man. I will always be trying to outsmart the tech man, but I will always have to agree with the tech man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I hate that they had to put the restriction on the engine. Well, Bubba had said the weekend before they went to Alabama,
right, that
it was the bottom end that helped him win over Preston. And I don't know whose engine Preston had in the car at the opener, at Southern National, but it's 0.4 of a mile, and Bubba was getting some good torque coming out of the turns.